Hi, this is Andy Bassich. I'm out here on the Yukon River, about 120 miles south of the Arctic Circle at my homestead, Calico Bluff. And I've just started working on a rainbird irrigation system for my newly refurbished greenhouse growing operation. I have a kind of a unique system here. I don't have running water. I live off-grid, and I get all my power through the sun and through the wind. So a little bit challenging to run just regular irrigation. I either have to run pumps or hopefully gravity feed. We're going to find out in a little bit. So one of the unique things about the way I do things here is I have to get river water from the Yukon River. I pump it up into these two large holding tanks. The Yukon River water is extremely silty, so I have to let that water kind of settle. And what I've done is I've connected these two tanks. I have a low point here where hopefully some of that silt will be able to settle down to. I can purge that system right here, dump a little bit of the silt, and then the primary water feed comes out of here, goes into this very efficient rainbird filter here. And once it goes through this, hopefully it'll be very, very clean water, no particles to clog my emitters later on. I've got all my dogs running loose. So from that point there, I go through this filter that cleans the water, then I go down and I've got an AC pump right here. And I'll take you on a little tour of what I've accomplished to this point. Here are the holding tanks that I use when I'm pumping Yukon River water. Each one of these tanks hold about 350 gallons, 375 gallons of water. So the purpose of this is to try and reduce my water consumption by only watering the plants, not watering a lot of the dirt and soil in between the plants. I come out of my tanks right here, I go down through this filter. And this is going to hopefully clear out any debris. It's a mesh filter, and it should take out quite a bit of the silt, the fine silt. And then I run this 1-inch flexible pipe down into this little AC pump right here. So I have my my hose coming in, my hose going out, and that goes into this very nice manifold system that I just built. And we're going to take a trip inside the greenhouse and see the rest of the plumbing. So one of the challenges that I have living out here is later in the season I do have nights where it goes a little bit below freezing. I have to worry about pipes freezing, and that's why I use a lot of this flexible pipe. And I've also created this coupling right here so that I can take this system apart very easily. I can undo this and then pull the entire manifold out and drain it if I need to. Okay, so we're inside the greenhouse now, and you can see I've got 6 zones on this manifold, and it seems to be working pretty good. I also have these filters here made by Rainbird, and these are a screen mesh filter. So I have my water coming in through here. It goes through a ball valve, so I can turn it off on and off right here. And then this filter not only filters the water, but it also reduces the pressure. So the pump that I have will pump at about 65 psi. I need to drop that way down. This will take it down to 40 or a little bit below 40. And it also acts as a mesh filter. So what I did is that before I got the whole system going, I took this apart, took the filters out, flushed it out a little bit, put my filter back in, screw that on good and tight so it doesn't leak, and you want this to be in line with your lines as best you can. Mine don't go exactly that way. This is a line that's going to water some beds outside the greenhouse. But I've got 6, so you can see here there's one for the beans, there's one for tomatoes on one side of the greenhouse, and then there's an outside one, there's another outside one there, and then I have tomatoes and pepper plants. Okay, so there's my manifold, and you can see what I'm doing here is I'm actually running the pipe up vertically, and then I'm running it all along the tops of the greenhouse. And the reason for that is that this greenhouse is designed to take the end panel walls off and be able to run my tractor through here with the tiller on it. So I can take these walls off. Each wall has 2 panels. I can take those off for 3 or 4 screws, remove those panels, hook up the tiller on my tractor, run through here in the fall time to till this all up, and then go through in the spring before planting. So traveling up here, you can see that I'm running vertically and then horizontally along the eaves here, and the reason for that is obviously for running the tractor through here, but it's also to keep the water lines up high like this so that I can feed these pepper plants. So one of the unique things that I do is I grow my pepper plants upside down, and I basically run the lines over here, and there's an emitter right there. That's a ½ gallon per hour emitter, the blue one. And then I have this line here that comes over and then feeds right into the pot right here. Okay, so I've turned on the system for the peppers, and as you can see right here, I grow my peppers upside down, and that's one of the reasons why I'm running these lines up high like this. You can see I've got an emitter right here. This ½ gallon per hour emitter goes into a small feed tube and then into the Rainbird system for mounting. And this is a little holder right here. There's a little arrow on that you definitely want to make sure that the pipe's going in that direction. And then this is a little thing to keep the bugs from going back up your line. But you can see right now I have no pumps running, and I'm working off of just gravity feed. And I'm going to be obviously putting a ½ gallon per hour into these pepper plants right now. So I'm really excited about the fact that all of this is going to work, and I don't have to turn on any pumps. So a perfect system for a person who wants to do a off-grid system with no power. So you got to get your water storage up high. Once you have your water storage up high, you're good to go. I'm really excited. You can see these pepper plants are kind of interesting. They grow out of the bottom of the pot, and they very quickly turn and start growing vertically, and that's just going to give them more room to grow up before they hit the ceiling here. So I just turned on the emitters for the tomato beds and the zucchini beds, and as you can see, even with just gravity feed right here, this emitter is working perfectly, just like it has pressure on it. So right now, the way this system is set up, I'm able to water my entire greenhouse without ever having to turn on a pump or use any electricity. The only thing I have to do is probably cost me about a pint of gasoline to pump the 700 gallons of water up into the holding tank. So this is actually a really interesting operation, a really interesting design that would work for anybody living in a third world country, living off-grid, living where running power electricity would be a challenge, and very efficient. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is in this one that's got the built-in emitters, I'm just going to go ahead and add a small emitter right here. Oh, look at that, there's water coming out, because I've got that valve on right now. And look at that. So that's a ½ gallon per hour emitter. And that looks like it's going to work just perfectly now off the gravity feed. So I'll just put a couple more of those in. I think what I'll do is just put those in on either side of the regular emitters. And then if I feel like I need more water flow, I could always turn on my pump, and I would also have water flowing right here out of this emitter. But as you can see, the water is flowing just fine out of these ½ gallon per hour emitters. So I'm just going to add those in, and then my entire greenhouse will work perfectly well off of just the gravity feed system. Okay, so the other thing I've got in each one of these systems, you can see this is a 3-line system here, and you need to be able to get air out of it. It'll purge the air through the emitters, but I want to be able to purge sediment or really blow these lines out from time to time. And so what I've done is I've added a ball valve here, and by turning on that ball valve I can purge the air, and I can also clean the silt out. And if I wanted to, these are all threaded, I'd be able to set it up to where I could put a hose on any one of these if I had some additional things I needed to water. Yay, I'm all done with my installation of this Rainbird irrigation system. Took about a day and a half. Everything's working great, easy to put together, really intuitive system, Everything fit together well. The tools, specialty tools, work well. And I'm really stoked because it's all working off of gravity feed. So there's no power needed, no pumps, anything. My system design, running everything up high and bringing it down, is working just the way I'd hoped it would. I have a backup pump just in case, but so far I'm not needing it. Everything is working perfectly well. So I'm really excited. The tomato plants, the squash, the cucumbers, the green beans, everything's getting water only at the plant, which is going to be really efficient for use of water, and hopefully it'll be really good for the production. I'll be able to keep everything moist. I'm excited to have a really high production greenhouse, and I'll check back with you later on in the summer as time progresses to show you the benefits of this irrigation system that I just installed in this very unique greenhouse. It's a drive-through greenhouse.